When you're ready to start your estimating process in JobTread, you will start in a new job. Then we'll go to the Budget tab, and this is where we build out our budget or our estimate for the job. Now we can do so by adding either cost items or groups of items to the budget. Let's start by just adding a cost item. So I'll click plus item, and now it will automatically try to search from my catalog to find the item I'm looking for. In this case, I'll just do a remodel permit. Now I have several items in my catalog that I could copy into this budget, but let's go ahead and create a new cost item for this budget specifically. So remodel permit, create new cost item. And now I can fill out the cost item details. So here I can add a description. So issued by the City of Dallas. Great. And then I can choose a cost type. Your cost types are going to give you default margins or whether or not that item is taxable just based on what you've created in your JobTread settings. So in this case, I'm going to choose the cost type of other. And then I can also choose a cost code. My cost codes are my back-end accounting codes. So if you're using the QuickBooks integration, then these will end up being your products and services in QuickBooks. So here I'm going to choose my cost code of planning. Awesome. Now we'll scroll over and continue to fill out more fields. So I just need one permit, quantity of 1, the unit of measurement will be each, and then I can add the unit cost. The unit cost is the cost that I'm incurring as the contractor for this item. How much am I going to pay the city for this permit? We'll say $425. And then the unit price is how much I'm charging the customer for one of these items based on my default profit margin. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and add some more. So I can add a new item, and in this case, I'm going to pull it from my catalog. So I'm going to find my measurements and walkthrough item. And now you'll see that it brought over any details that I had already saved for this item in my catalog. I can click and edit any portion of this as I need to, and then it will not automatically impact my catalog. My catalog will remain my source of truth. I'm editing it and customizing it just for this job. So here I can add in the quantity, maybe 2 hours for this. And now we'll see that the unit cost for 1 hour is $85, but the extended cost is now multiplied by 2. So that now makes the extended cost $170. Same thing with your unit price and extended price. So the price to the customer for 1 hour is $121, but then multiplying by the quantity of 2 makes the extended price to your customer $242. All right, let's go ahead and add one more item from our catalog, plus item, and now I'm going to choose my design fee. Here it is, great. And then again, I can click and edit any part that pulled over from my catalog, and then add in my quantity. Wonderful. All right, now all of these are kind of part of the pre-construction phase of the project. So let's go ahead and add a group header and nest these items within a pre-construction group. So I'm going to click plus group, and then I'm going to choose to add in my own group header. Automatically, the system's going to try to search for a group that I have saved in the cost catalog. We'll do that in a minute. Here, we'll just create a new cost group header, pre-construction. Create new cost group. Great. And now there's nothing in that group, so I'm going to pull it up above my other items. And then I need to make sure that I nest these items in that group. So they're not nested quite yet. Let's just go ahead and drag and drop the items into that group, and you'll see how now that group has a sum total for the cost and price of all the items. Now you also have the option to click on the 3 dots next to the group header and also add a cost item directly into that group, so then you don't need to click and drag. All right, we'll save our changes, and now we have our first group in our budget. Let's go ahead and add some pre-saved groups that we've already saved in our catalog. So I'll click on plus group, and now I can choose a group called demolition. Great, I'll pull that in. And then as you can see, it automatically pulled in these 3 line items that were already saved in that group back in my catalog. All right, so at this point, all I'm doing is I can edit my quantities. We'll make sure that we have 3 boxes of garbage bags, 1 dumpster, and 3 days for demo labor. And now you'll see all of the other totals were already filled in based on what was saved in my catalog. Great, let's add some more. Plus group, and this one's going to be framing. It should have labor and materials in there, yes. And now I can put, 150 linear feet, framing labor time 48 hours. And then let's go ahead and add another group. This one will be plumbing. Now in this case, you'll notice that I have materials and labor, but I don't have a cost already established in my catalog for those items. So I could send out a bid request to bid out this portion of my budget, or I could just go ahead and do my own estimate in here. So I'll just add some totals. Great. And then of course, I want to make sure that my quantities are also filled in. Let's add one more group. Here we go. Finishing, and then we'll add in our totals as well. Now your groups could go up to 5 group levels deep, so you could have subgroups within groups as well. And you can even save an entire budget template in your catalog that you can quickly pull over into the job and edit as needed. So you can really speed up your estimating time. There's also the option to leverage mass actions to make changes to multiple items at once. So if I scroll over, let's go ahead and increase the margins across the board for this project. So I'm going to select one or multiple cost items, or I can select an entire group of items or my entire budget altogether, and this mass budget actions drawer pops out. Here's where I can select an action to take, and there are several choices. We'll go ahead and just set the margin across the board to 40%. Hit apply action, and now it's going to show you all the changes that were made, so we can go ahead and save our changes and move forward with the project. Great. So now that I'm ready, I have all my costs, all my quantities calculated in here. Now I'm going to create a proposal to send to my customer. So all you need to do is click on plus document, choose your proposal template. Here it's my customer order. And then by default, the system will already select all your budget items to include on that proposal. Now you can choose how you want your items organized as well as they appear on the document, but we'll go ahead and make sure that we include them all organized by cost group. Click create, and now you have a draft proposal. At this point, all of these fields are click to edit, so you can change whatever you need to. You'll also notice on the draft document that there are several small icons. These give you the option to set your own expiration date. You also can choose to show or hide line item files. You also can show or hide the quantity and unit price on each of your items, and even choose to hide all line item totals and just show the lump sum total at the bottom. Now each group header also gives you additional visibility options. So here I can hide my sub-items if I'd like, or I can just hide the totals of all my sub-items. We'll go ahead and do so throughout the document. Great. Now as you scroll down, you'll also see that we have all of our terms and conditions or contract language that you can edit at any time, and then you have your signature line. On the right-hand side, you have several setting options as well. You can add a subject that can accompany the name of the document. You also can choose to show cost and fee if you're a cost plus builder, and now you'll see the cost separate from your profits. And then you also have the ability to upload files, photos, and videos to any of your documents. Now that we're ready to send it to our customers, we'll go ahead and click the send button. And then we already have the primary contact for that customer listed as a recipient. Let's go ahead and add another contact on that customer account. So I'll go search for them. Perfect, and now I need a signature from both. Then I can edit my default email message and hit send. What this does is it will send a separate email to each of your recipients with your logo, your message, and a button to view the document. When they click that button, it will open up the document in their web browser. They do not need to create a username or password at all. In fact, that button that they click has a magic link to their portal. Here we can track the delivery status, so you can see when the email was delivered, when the email was opened, when the document was viewed, and when the document was signed by each of your recipients, and you even have a resend button and several other options. Now let's say that they went in and they signed the document. We'll hit approve, and now it becomes a legally binding time-stamped document. Now let's see what happened to our budget when we did this. When we go back to our budget tab, now nothing changed in the estimating section, but as we scroll over, we now have a budgeted cost for the job, and that is going to be available to us in the job costing portion to track all of our expenses against. Anytime that you notice a cell in your budget that has an icon in it, you can click on that cell and see what informed that number on that cell. We hope that this is helping you understand the estimating process within JobTread. If you have any questions, contact your customer success manager, or you can email support@jobtread.com and we'll be sure to help.